I'm getting all fancy for you guys. I got a cheap Amazon microphone. I gotta set this up. All right. I got kind of a cheap Amazon lav microphone, so hopefully... Zach, what's up? Welcome back. It's been a minute. Can you hear me okay? Does it sound okay? I'm trying out a new audio thing here, so hopefully it's a little bit better and people can hear me a little bit better than before. It's super cheap though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it sounds bad, but hopefully you can hear me okay. What are you doing? Cool. Thank you. I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day here. It's finally cooled down slightly, so I am so excited that it's not ridiculously hot out. It's 79 degrees in the garage here, which is glorious compared to what it's been. How are you? So because I work at night. I gotcha. Night shift. I didn't know that. Night shift can be pretty rough. I never worked it regularly, but I worked it periodically at my old job to cover for our night shift. And that's always that was always a struggle. Those were particularly bad days because I worked the day shift. I went home, had dinner, tried to take a nap, and I got back at 8 p.m., worked all through the night shift, and then went home, got breakfast, slept for about an hour, and came back and worked all the day shift again. I do not miss those days at all, not in the least. That was not a fun job to have, to be honest. But you know, it's all part of the journey. If you haven't liked the stream yet, that'd be awesome. I'm just gonna get some extra volume in for the arms today. I prefer night, but I don't like driving at night. I gotcha. Yeah, driving. You're talking about driving like the actual truck, because that sounds a little dicey. What's up, Brian? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. I'm just getting set up. I probably should have gotten this set up before, but I gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. I don't mind night driving. Every once in a while, I will drive a really long ways to see family, and I will drive from like 8 p.m. till like 11 the next morning. I drive through the night, and that's brutal to stay awake, but it's at least a lot better. You'd like to see my pretty chest. I am just never surprised anymore. Metric, what's up? Welcome back. Guess we caught you on New Zealand time, huh? Here we go. Brian, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee in the link. That's what I offer you, the link to donate to Buy Me a Coffee. Alternatively, I offer massive amounts of entertainment, slight sarcasm, with my willingness to put myself through a little bit of pain for all of your enjoyment on stream. So I will not be showing you my chest, but you are certainly more than welcome to go to the link in my bio and buy me a coffee. Please don't spam the chat. If you spam the chat, I'll kick you out of here. I want to keep everybody in here though. That's the goal. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please like it. That'd be awesome. Double tap the screen. That would help me out a lot. We're just getting rolling here. Now I've hit the notification bell, but otherwise just scrolled over you again. Appreciate hitting the bell. I should probably say that because the YouTube UI is a little bit tricky. When you subscribe, it kind of highlights the one that you think is selected, but it's not. You have the personalized one selected. So when you subscribe to somebody, it automatically selects personalized instead of doing the subscribe alert for all. So you have to hit the notifications all, and then it'll show you every time. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. Okay, here we go. Oh. All right. Honestly, I'm feeling so good lately because I am out of the cut. I've been eating more or less successfully at maintenance. I've maintained my weight, pretty much zero pounds gained in the last week and a half or so. So I've been really happy with my energy levels, eating a little bit more food, and yeah, just, what am I doing? I set this up completely wrong. Give me a second, bear with me. Sorry guys. I forgot I need to pull this out a little bit further. And then we can get the stretch, and then we'll get going. This is not the easiest exercise to set up of all time, but it's all good. You know, Zach, some people just haven't been taught what no means. You know, some people, I don't know, it's just lost in them. Sphinx, how's your weekend? I guess it's got to be pretty much the end of it by now. Is it Monday by you yet? The dog is absolutely loving this weather. As soon as it drops that 10 degrees or so, gets down into the 70s, all she wants to do is spend time out here. All right, that's a good warm up. Ooh. I'm hungry, yeah. I'm with you. I just had, every once in a while, I will, if I'm doing legs especially, the only time I really do intro workout nutrition is when I'm doing legs, just because those exercises are typically a little bit harder. The workouts are longer in duration, usually between 40 minutes and 70 minutes, something like that. And I find that if I even just have a little bit of fruit, you know, a kiwi is my favorite, just a little something, handful of blueberries, or maybe like even a little bit of candy, because it's, you know, so high carb, that can really help out with energy levels during a workout, and you know, a little bit after. So I had some fruit beforehand. I've been watching some American football today, and then I have been working on renovating the bathroom. So I got another coat of mud on. I rerouted a shower drain last night, and I gotta finish moving some water lines. So anyways, that's my journal for today. I don't know how many of you care about what's going on outside of stream time, but that's my spiel. All right, we'll get this another warm up in. You're a fun guy. Appreciate that, Sphinx. We usually have a fun time. Marta, oh my word, what is with people today? That's the second request. Well, I guess that wasn't a request. That was just a statement. All right, 2 more, and then we'll get into the working sets. All right. People are thirsty. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Overall, the week has been completely crappy, if I'm being totally honest. That's not the verbiage that first came to my mind. But yeah, it's been, what's up, Cyrus? Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you. Yeah, it has not been a good, my dog just knocked over the tripod. Excellent. Hey, stop. Just relax, bro. My German Shepherd does not have like a chill mode. If you have a German Shepherd or another high energy breed, you know that they're just not, it's not in their DNA to relax at all. And so all she does is run around here and drop the ball for herself, even though we've played fetch twice today. And we'll play fetch again once the sun starts going down. It's just the way she is. What was I saying? Oh, pretty terrible week. Got some real bad news. That's, you know, pretty emotionally taxing. Pikachu, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Give it a like if you haven't already. About to get into working sets here. But yeah, pretty rough week. But I'm not like ridiculously optimistic, you know, like the whole happy no matter what. That's not me at all. But even in the weeks that are objectively pretty bad, I think it's helpful to look at some of the things that went well, if there are any, while recognizing that some weeks are just pretty bad. So yeah, that's something I try to keep in mind. If there's anything that goes well, that's good to think about. For me, I was able to continue getting some workouts in. What's up, Tala? Welcome to the stream. Despite the fact that I was pretty in my head most of the week and out of my head, dealing with a lot of people. And it was a really stressful work week too. I traveled, I was in a hotel 2 nights this week. And I did probably, well, I don't know, maybe 10 hours of driving in 3 days, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that isn't really working. Yes, it's part of my work, but I have to do all my work outside of my driving too. Hey. Am I yelling, Pikachu? Hey. I'm trying out a new, okay. Trying out a new microphone here because the AirPods were not working at all. They sucked. And so giving that a go. It's okay, Zach. You know, there's some weeks, some months, some years that happens. It's okay. Yeah. Hungry. Cool. That's awesome. If you haven't given the stream a like, that would be awesome if you did that. Would appreciate it. Double tap the screen. Just in here, goal is to get some extra arm volume in. This won't be a super long workout. Get the arms pumped and fully recovered from 2 days ago when or I guess 3 days ago, my last upper body workout. And then tomorrow is going to be another upper body. I'm probably going to switch it to push-pull legs pretty soon here. I was doing a modified upper-lower split where I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday legs, and then Tuesday, Thursday upper body, which was great. I was trying to bring up my legs a little bit, and that was only, I would say, moderately successful, maybe even mildly successful, because I did that all during a cut, which is hard to be encouraged. If you're cutting weight and you're trying to put on muscle, they're kind of antithetical ideas. It's not to say you can't recompose a little bit, especially if you're new. Sorry, dog's onto something. Especially if you're newer to lifting and or cutting weight, it is possible. But if you're really targeting fat loss or muscle gain, it's probably best to separate those phases out into a bulking and a cut. And so because I was cutting through my lower leg or leg focused mesocycle, I don't feel like I saw the gains that I was hoping to see, even though I know for sure that I've put on some muscle in those 5 weeks that I did that, 5 or 6 weeks. But now I'm going to go back to sort of like the typical push-pull legs split, and we'll kind of go from there. Get a little bit more upper body volume in. So, all right. The goal here, I love this exercise. It does get my biceps sore, maybe more than any other exercise, because your arms are way behind you. There's about as much of a stretch on the biceps as possible. And then as long as you're really kind of focused on this portion, the eccentric portion, you're going to get a ton of stimulus to the muscle. It's very difficult. There's like a massive flight response when I do this, but I know it is a little bit better for my my various injuries, elbow issues, rotator cuff issues, biceps tendonitis. Doing this with the controlled eccentric, pausing at the stretch, and then reversing into the concentric helps to reduce injury risk. One more. And then once we get done with this here, give it a good stretch. Don't just let the weight go. It hurts. Oh. And that's it for the set. We're going to do one more set here. I'm going to drop the weight, probably 2.5 pounds, and see how far we can go. It is a little bit humbling if you're trying to lock in the form and you're not necessarily just, oh yeah, get the weight up, you know, just curl it up there. If you're really trying to lock in the form, milk the most you can out of a hypertrophy session in the gym. It is pretty helpful to lock in every one of those aspects, controlling the eccentric, getting the stretch, pausing at the bottom where it's really uncomfortable, reversing into the concentric, and then going close to failure. That's a really another big piece of it. It's not like you won't grow muscle at all if you don't train close to failure, but you could be getting more results if you just lock down the specifics of your workout. So 0 to 3 reps in reserve is typically the range, because they don't really see that much of an increase in the studies that they've done in 4 reps or 3 reps in reserve to complete concentric failure, which is 0 reps in reserve. They just don't see that much. There is a marginal amount of muscle growth, but really, as long as you're getting close to that 3 to 0 reps in reserve range, you're probably in the Goldilocks zone there. So she doesn't do anything to not failure. She just She just keeps going. Do you ever go to failure? She did, unfortunately, about maybe a year and a half ago. I was throwing with her, and she very uncharacteristically kind of sat down in the middle of a fetch session, which was not right at all. So I was immediately, as soon as I saw her do that, she sat down and just looked at the ball, and I was like, immediately, oh no, there's something wrong. But then she got up and grabbed the ball, and I was like, okay. We went through, well, apparently she had partially torn a ligament. So we had to recover and make sure she was good to go. And now, even now, we still have to be careful with throwing her, playing fetch with her too hard, because she'll go all out no matter what if you give her the opportunity. So we have to try to warm her up and keep her from hurting herself. But Zach, I have a cat, one cat. She is a black cat with green eyes. I love her, and she is very much a cat, which means that I'm not sure that she loves me back. And I'm fairly certain that if given the opportunity, she may realize her lifelong dream of killing me in my sleep. So I think, yeah, that's my cat spiel. The dog also will nose the cat around a lot. She literally will take her long snout and slip it underneath the cat as it's walking and try to flip her. As you can imagine, that doesn't go over well with the cat. Yeah. Okay. So the cat and the dog are kind of frenemies, I guess. I feel like my cat loves me too much. Oh yeah. I'm pretty allergic to cats. Make it make sense. I have a cat and I'm allergic to it. So I don't really get up in its grill a lot. If I pet her, I have to rinse off my hands before I touch my face. If I were to pet her and touch my face, I'd start breaking out and be real itchy in the eyes. But she has this terrible habit of when it gets colder out, she will literally, because our heads emit a ton of warmth. There's so much blood circulating through your skull that your head is really warm. And so when it gets cold out, she will crawl up onto the bed and then literally like sit on my head above my pillow. Yeah, that usually causes a whole 24-hour stint of itchy eyes and pretty bad allergies, but she doesn't do it very often. It's hard to kick her off though. You know, when she's chilling up there, I always feel kind of bad. I'm like, I don't want to. She's feeling cozy. She's not particularly affectionate the rest of the time. All right. I'm gonna get some skull crushers in. Ugh. Like, yeah, framing this is always fun. Ugh. Yeah, nice. Always lays down on a blanket. Cats are interesting creatures. What kind of cat do you have? All right. I'm not sure that's gonna fly with the elbows today, unfortunately. The elbow specifically. Domestic short hair, nice. Yeah, the general cat delineations always are kind of funny. It's like, it's a house cat and it's colored brown. And my dog just ran off. One moment, please. Hey, psst, no. Sorry, dog was on about somebody walking. Psst. Hey, get it. Get it. I try not to, my dog, I installed an underground fence for her and she learned it in like 2 days. So she doesn't even get like beeped anymore. She'll approach the fence, it'll beep at her before it offers any sort of correction. It'll beep at her. And so she's really good about not getting close to the boundary line. But because she's a shepherd, she runs around the property, and if anyone comes by the property, walking, jogging, whatever, she lets them know, but she'll never go past the boundary line. But I don't like to let her just scream at people. They're trying to enjoy their walk, so I'll go and throw the ball for her. She is, how old are you? How old are you? 4.5-ish, 4.5, maybe. Yeah, something like that. I guess she'll be 5 early next year. We're gonna see how this goes. Whoa, you all right there? What are you doing? I was doing glutes the other day, reverse lunges. And I think it was early morning maybe. And so the grass was real dewy. And she went out and ran around it. She keeps coming back like she does. And she made this mat all slippery. So I was trying to do glutes. And when I would do my reverse lunge step back, there were a couple of times where I slipped. And I'm like, I think my dog is trying to sabotage my workout. Ugh. 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 All right. Ooh. Yeah. Hopefully she has a while left. But the larger the dog, usually the shorter the lifespan. And especially shepherds, they don't seem to live that long. At least not, they don't live well very long. They have a lot of hip problems, and Rashid every time. Yeah, so the lifespans aren't great on these. Hopefully one day it'd be cool if we had some better genetics to be able to extend dogs' lives. That'd be good. Be nice to have them around twice as long or 3 times as long. Right? Right? She's a good dog. Pretty much does everything with me. She follows me all around the place. If I'm working in the bathroom or, putting up drywall or whatever I'm doing, she's always there. My buddy. All right. I think this might actually be the last set. Not trying to do a ton of sets just because I'll be doing probably push-pull legs tomorrow. Start that with a push. So really, I'm just trying to get a little extra volume in for the arms. If you're into lifting, Zach, I think you're the only one in here. Hang on. Okay. Okay. If you're into lifting and you're trying to specifically bring up a particular body part, maybe you feel like your shoulders are behind or whatever it may be, really the way to do that is just add more sets progressively through the weeks. So if you, let's say, I'm not recommending this, but let's say you do 3 sets of bis, 3 sets of tris, 3 sets of shoulders, and 3 sets of chest. If you're trying to bring up your shoulders, you know, if you do that for 4 weeks, let's say you do the same thing. Again, I don't recommend it. You want to increase your reps and your volume, your sets over time. Progressive overload is what it's called. If you're trying to bring up a certain muscle group, you want to just preferentially add more sets to that. So especially because your shoulders are like such a small muscle, your medial delt is real small, anterior and posterior delt. You can add a whole bunch more sets, and it doesn't take that much time, that much more time to add those sets in, but you should see a little bit more growth out of those if you add more sets to your workouts. Every once in a while, somebody like they do really well with low volume, but I don't know that that's typical. I think adding more volume to a specific muscle group is going to yield better gains over time. Buck, what's up, man? Welcome. I saw you briefly the other night. How you been? Just moving out of here. Judge Judy, go eat a burger. You know, Judge, I do eat burgers sometimes, but the reason I work out is because there's quite a bit that says maintaining skeletal muscle is going to increase your lifespan. So I would rather live longer. That's why I work out. And so, yeah, I do enjoy it. It helps me de-stress. Imagine that, Zach. It helps me de-stress. Sometimes some workouts are just hard and you just have to gut it out. And that is what it is. But the workouts do help me de-stress. Hey, easy. Take it easy. We don't want to make accusations we don't know are true. Judge Judy is more than welcome to eat a burger if she so chooses. And actually, a burger sounds really good. All throughout my cut, I was doing that 6-week cut. All throughout the cut, I was dying for some Five Guys. So, and then of course, after I start eating at maintenance more, then the absolute desire to go to Five Guys is not nearly as strong. But I've had some really good Indian food the last couple days. I had some Turkish food this afternoon, which was fantastic. Yeah, plant-based burger at Five Guys was amazing. I was trying to get my heavy homeboy to get a little bit healthier. Working out is awesome. It keeps my mental health in line, keeps you fit and lightweight. Why have excess body weight and feel shitty all the time? Yeah, I mean, I think that summarizes the positive aspects of working out. There are certainly negative aspects. One would be acute injury risk. It's not incredibly high, but there is absolutely an acute injury risk of working out, really of any kind, cardio, lifting, and then time. Like people that don't care about working out, yes, they may not be as healthy on the whole necessarily, maybe in terms of their blood panel or overall health, but they have so much more time than somebody that's dedicating, hours every week to working out. They're doing other stuff. So I definitely think that the scales tip in favor of working out for me. That's a personal decision, but it is important to recognize that everything's just a trade-off. If you don't like working out, you hate it, it makes you feel like shit all the time. Like, you know, we can talk about that probably another time in terms of like strategies to make it less terrible. But it's definitely a trade-off. It's not all good stuff. 1 hour a day to work out. 1 hour is a ton of time. 5 minutes if you're starting out. I mean, that's really broad. It depends on what you're trying to do. I have a friend who's training for a marathon. He needs way more than 1 hour to work out every day. So that's a generalization, I think. I feel what you're saying. I'm not trying to dig on you. Minimum of 5 minutes. I love the mentality there. Even just a little something, getting started, to your point, is really helpful. You don't have to like chase the world on your first week of you know, getting to the gym or doing some cardio to try to do a fat loss phase. You know, doing a little bit, like you're saying, first to last, even just 5 minutes is an improvement, and then you can scale from there. But certainly there are some endeavors that require much more than 1 hour, and 1 hour is so much time during the day, because you consider most people sleep about 8 hours. So you're only working with 16 hours. 1 out of 16 hours is a 16th of your whole day every single day. That's a commitment. That's not nothing. You could do a whole lot of other stuff in that other hour. So it is definitely a sacrifice. But in my opinion, you're sacrificing some of this time for hopefully a better future. Like, I would like to live with some scientific advancement and staying up on, you know, general health markers. I think it'd be great to live to 120 years old, but I don't want to be 70 years old and feeling like garbage and going, man, I want to live another 50 years. Like, who wants to live like garbage for 50 years? There's health, there's lifespan, then there's health span. You want those two to match up, ideally. You want to live, well, I guess not everyone wants to live a long time. I'll speak for myself. I want to live for a long time. I want to see multiple generations. And I also want to live well for a long time. So I do enjoy myself here and there. I'll have a cigar periodically. I'll have a drink periodically. But in general, I try to implement practices that are in favor of increasing my abilities and overall health. Building skeletal muscle and being lean are two huge ones, I think. Zach, sorry, I gotta catch up. I wish I had the room to work out other than walking. Yeah, I mean, but walking's huge. You can recompose your body with walking. Maybe the physique won't, you know, if you lean down, you won't have a traditional muscular physique, but who cares? Like, if you want to lean down, worry about lifting later if you want to, you know, try to look a certain way. But yeah, walking is a great start. I do strength training and an extra hour of cardio. Sex life is through the roof. Nice. Must have pretty good hormone levels. I hope I don't live to 120 personally, but I can see why people would. 80 would be fine for me. You know, I understand that, Zach. But I kind of take the approach of like, I have no idea what my life is going to be like when I'm 50. And there's definitely a potential that it could be very bad. Like, I'm not just like hopelessly positive. Like, it could be bad, you know, when I'm 50. But I want to live in a way where I'm surprised by how good my life is when I'm 50. A lot of it's outside of my control. Some of that is within my control. You know, the things that we do today affect the things that happen tomorrow and moving forward. That's working out, that's saving, you know, retirement finances or just a little bit here and there. Like, you do those things putting off today so that you can have a little bit better tomorrow. And you might be surprised. Your life is likely to be incredibly different in 20 to 30 years than it is today. And so what if we all pretended like our life was going to be so much better in 20 to 30 years. And by the time you get to 50, man, you're desperate to live another 70 years, right? You might be surprised. Might be surprised. Yeah, that's first to last. That's kind of my thing. Science moves very slowly. There are some amazing things on the horizon. I'm convinced of that. We've accelerated like crazy in the last 120, 130 years, 150 years, and even more so in the last 10 to 20 years. And so I think we have a lot of really amazing things on the horizon, but it will take time. And so when you realize like, oh yeah, it's 10 years down the road, if you say that for, 5 massive human advancements, you realize like, well, that's 50 years. If you're 20 years old, that puts you at 70, right? So I would be the coolest looking 65-year-old if I was 65. I'd be 100 and 2100. That's crazy to think of. We'll see if I see the year 2100. I have not heard. Explain. Tell me about it. A lot of these, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble. Go, what's up? A lot of these are like really, really good looking in animal trials. And then they get to human trials and epically fail. Although the GLP-1 agonist, like Ozempic, is a really great example of finding an animal extract. In this case, it was lizards, and going through the trials to have a massive impact on people's ability to lose weight. So that's definitely an example of where it can go really, really right. Sophia, what's up? Hey, it's been a while. I have I have mitochondrial DNA information for you. I did my research. That's it. I think Brian Johnson will live to the year 2100. He's like 4. Yeah, I doubt it. Personally, I doubt it. More than likely, even if he has 10% of his methodology that extends life, he's more than likely too old to see it take effect to where he's going to live another 100 years. That's my opinion. I also have a massive issue with his. I like Brian Johnson a lot. I have a lot of respect for him. He goes on podcasts, long form, talks a lot about his stuff. He's put a ton of his data out there, which is amazing. And so I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of issues though with, they're sort of like buzzwords. I changed my biological age for X marker by doing X thing. I stopped eating this one type of food and it changed my biological age for some blood marker by 30 years. That is just not, the error bars on those sorts of assertions are so large that once you take 45 of them like he does, you have no the hell idea if it's making a difference. You could take it in aggregate and say, okay, if we have this whole sample set, we apply some rigorous statistical analysis to it. Yeah, maybe you're good, but yeah, I have some issues with him. Respect for him. I hope he lives another 100 years. That'd be awesome. But I doubt it. My opinion and mine only. My cat's name is Sophia. That's cool. Yeah. Mitochondrial DNA. So Sophia, I remember learning about this in college, and then you asked that question a few streams ago, and I had to do some reading on it to refresh my memory. I had forgotten that paternal mitochondrial DNA is almost entirely eradicated right around the time of fertilization, which is just fascinating. It's like the maternal mitochondrial DNA has a vendetta. They have a couple theories as to how it happens. There's a conversion process that makes them look like bad guys, essentially. And then the mother's eggs essentially just eradicate the paternal mitochondrial DNA. the question, so there in science, there's like the what happens, and that's like a mechanistic approach. What happens to paternal mitochondrial DNA? And we can go, okay, so we see this cell signal, and then it does this, and it turns it into that, and then it eats this, and it destroys that, it metabolizes this. That's the what, the mechanistic approach. But then there's also the why, which is also why it's like, I want to know why this happens. And I think basically we're not totally sure. However, this is cool. They call it the mother's curse, which is essentially the supposition is that over time, that natural selection has dictated that with mitochondrial DNA, there's a high instance of mutagenic capability, right? So the genes being mutated in a certain way, we call them insertions or deletions, indels in genetic science, or shifting of the nucleotides. There's a high instance of that in mitochondrial DNA. And so because of that, essentially natural selection has dictated that instead of taking two mutagenic mitochondrial DNA from maternal and paternal side, the genes have just decided that we're going to only roll with the moms to sort of mitigate mutagenic potential to the offspring. And so there's also the reason mother's curse is a thing is because, as you can imagine, that means that there's a lot of weight given to the genetic constituents of the maternal mitochondrial DNA. And so it's sort of like a good and bad. So just kind of interesting. I hope that was interesting for you. I don't know if I remembered. Nobody cares. Just let us know the square root of pi already. Thank you so much for explaining. Is it true that the egg attracts sperm that it desires? I don't know specifically. I haven't heard that. It does not pass the BS alert to me because unless you're talking about like a molecular affinity, which I can't still make sense based on like what happens during fertilization in particular. I don't think that's a real thing. The super sperm is what essentially makes it through the egg wall and then fertilizes the DNA. And so I don't know that it's like the egg is able to differentiate between the different ones. So first to last, I don't know that he's taking, Brian Johnson, this is taking the wrong approach to how he translates his data. I think he believes that the data that he's getting back from the analysis is effective, meaning causing a difference. And my question is, one, what are our testing methodologies to say, like we could take something in a vacuum and say, we'll actually just make something up. We'll call it blood quality, okay? What is your blood quality? And let's say we know that a high blood quality means you live a long time, a low blood quality means the inverse. And so I would want to know what the testing methodologies are for saying, I changed my blood quality and I know that it was from X thing. People do this all the time where they say, man, I put squats in my regimen and my quads blew up. And it's like, but there are like, I don't know, 100 other things that go into your life and your training that can affect your muscle growth that are not squats related. It could be that squats did it, but unless you controlled for this, you controlled your sleep, your eating, your calories, like all of this stuff, unless you controlled for those variables, you can't say for sure that it was the squats 100%, right? And so it's sort of the same idea. If blood quality is your indicator and say you stopped eating broccoli or something, he has a lot of these claims where he eats like a certain bean something or other in the morning, like every morning, which is fine. Like I don't judge people's diets, like go for it. But it's very difficult to say by eating these beans and foregoing rice and broccoli, I changed my blood quality levels to 20 years younger. I would also want to know what that means. Does that mean they're taking a population of 20-year-olds, testing all their blood, getting a distribution and saying right here is normal for a 20-year-old, and then they take his distribution and say that by eating beans and not broccoli, he shifted it? That just seems he takes dozens of supplements a day. How can you control for those sorts of things? I'm not saying what he's doing isn't effective in some way, but making a bold assertion like, I lowered my age by this, doesn't pass the check for me, to be honest. Zach, the fastest sperm closest to the finishing line wins the race to the ova. That's actually not true, believe it or not. I can't believe this is a fun conversation, guys. It's not actually the fastest to the ova. It's the most capable in penetrating the ova lining and therefore able to mix DNA. So yeah, there's a whole onslaught that goes on around the egg. We'll put it that way. What he eats and when he sleeps, yes, and he does the same way all the time. But how do we even understand that he's aging in reverse or slows it down? Yeah, so that's my question. I don't know that we have really rigorous metrics or testing methodologies to say, oh, I'm younger now, right? You know, we know in a vacuum, like sleep studies and stuff like that, you can affect your neurological health and your mental health and all this stuff if you're getting good sleep. But based on how many factors, dozens of factors that he has manipulated in his own body, I think it's just so hard to tell. Those error bars get so big once you stack variables on top that are uncontrolled, that I hope he's right. I do, like, genuinely, I hope he's right. I hope everything he says is correct, because if we can do the blue, whatever his methodology called, the blue something, never die, that's cool. That'd be awesome. I hope he's right. I just can't make it make sense in my head necessarily. And ability to recombine DNA. Yes. Yes. Oh, I did not expect to give any sort of reproductive chat on this, but it is all biology, science. Hopefully it's interesting. Favorite science subjects? Rashid, why? I don't understand. Gone. 24 hours. Favorite, have an actual class for it like we did in physics, biology. Yeah, I took genetics my senior year of college. That was after several cell biology classes, which are really heavy on molecular and therefore genetics based. And so, yeah, genetics is awesome. What is this I hear of whales don't get cancer? I have no idea, Sophia. Do you? I haven't heard that. I heard that whales are very intelligent and they supposedly have their own language, but I haven't heard that they don't get cancer. I heard something interesting the other day. I was listening to a tested video by Adam Savage, the Mythbusters guy, and he said that, let me finish this set here. Nope. That's it. Adam Savage said that he attended a conference where the speaker was an expert on whale communication, which boggles my mind. I love all sorts of science, but I can't imagine dedicating my life to, like, what are the orcas saying? You know, but to each their own. Find your passion, right? He said that the speaker said, it's really a funny thing if you think about it. Us humans have named the plant poison ivy. And so that plant in particular is named the worst thing that it could do to us humans, you know, poison, rash, itchy. And he said, when we're able to decode what the whales are saying to each other, I wonder if they have nickname, like what have the whales named humans? And then he said, sometimes I wonder if it will be genocide monkeys, which is absolutely brutal. And then I think he followed up by saying Genocide Monkeys would be an epic band name. So just something very interesting. Mole rats don't get cancer either. This is way above my, I'm out of my depth here. Why some people say that whales don't get cancer. No, I have no idea. I have no problem saying I don't know. That's one of the best things you can say. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to research that, see if that's true or not, and kind of go from there. Haven't heard that before. So, huh. Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Not everything you hear is true. It may be true, but it's important to be skeptical and to do your best to verify. I haven't heard that. I don't know if it's true or not true. Generally, I'm pretty skeptical of what people say, and so I'm not just going to take someone's word for it. You shouldn't even take my word for it. You know, we're having a chat here about all sorts of stuff, but look it up yourself. Yeah. No, I don't know. I wish I could verify it for you, Sophia, but I can't. I don't have the knowledge. Maybe one day. Cool. All right. I need to get going. I got a bunch of stuff to do in the bathroom. If you haven't liked the stream already, just give it a thumbs up. I started posting shorts. Those have gotten some traction, which is pretty cool. So if you find a short helpful, send it to a friend, you know. I don't know. If you're not subscribed, just subscribe and then hit the all button. You know, just notify me every time The Eccentric Scientist goes live. I appreciate all you guys joining today. It was good having a chat. Take care.